Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Executive Committee meeting today, Monday, January 13th, 2025. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
We have several,
Okay.
yes. No members, though.
Okay, thank you very much. I now call this meeting to order. I get a roll call.
Chair Lopez,
Here.
Member Chiesa.
Here.
New member Condit,
Here.
Members Wallen,
Here.
and that is all of our committee at this point. So we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll open this up for public comments. Are there any comments from the public? And now we'll do the pledge. It doesn't show up, but we'll do it
no,
anyways. We'll stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America. Indivisible, with liberty. No, you're fine. Okay, moving on to consent calendar. Motion to approve the executive committee meeting minutes for December 9th.
I will make that motion.
Got a motion in a second.
If I may, Chair, or point of
ma'am.
clarification, are we doing the consent calendar items individually or the consent calendar as a whole?
We can do them as a whole. Any members of the public that would like to make any comments on the consent calendar before we move forward? So we have a motion on the floor for the consent calendar, which first and the second. Vito? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Moving on to discussion items. Motion to recommend the policy board accept by resolution the fiscal year 2023-24 Measure L annual report. Jean?
Thank you so much. This item actually came to the policy board last month. And at that point in time, the policy board asked that we bring it back in January to give everyone enough time to take a look at the report. And since that time, we have gotten a lot of great feedback from our jurisdictions as well as our standing committees on the report itself. So this report I'm really proud of. We put a lot of hard work and effort. I do want to thank all the jurisdictions and all their help with this report, because they did, without them, it wouldn't be what it is today. And of course, they all had a lot to do with this report as well. Next slide. This slide is showing the revenues and expenditures. I do want to draw your attention to two items. The first one is the streets and roads, which is the second item under local control funds. You can see that the revenues there are 29.9 million and the expenditures are about 26 million. I just want to thank all of our hardworking jurisdictions getting that money in and expending that money as soon as they can. So this is a depiction that we're really keeping good track and making progress on our projects. And then the second item I want to draw your attention to is essentially the same as the what I just said, and that's the regional projects. You can see the revenues are about 16.7 million with the expenditures being about 15.2. So again, great job on that. Next slide. So this slide highlights some of our local projects. All of the projects, of course, are in the Measure L annual report, but I did want to just highlight two of the projects, and those are designated by the asterisk at the end of them. The first one is the Modesto Paradise Road project. That's on the bottom of the pictures on the bottom of your slide there. And that just shows some great work that was done at the high school, making access to the school for the students a lot more safer. And then you have the other project, which is the Waterford Improving F Street project. And this one is just a great depiction of the work that was done there in Waterford. Next slide. And in this report, we do have a look ahead for the projects for 2025. And here we have the Newman Street Rehabilitation Project and the Houston Surface Improvement Project Phase 2. Those are just examples of some of the look aheads that we had in the report this year. Next slide. I really like how we laid out the regional projects this year. To me, it made a lot more sense. And as I explain it to the other standing committees, it made a lot of good sense to them. Of course, we all know that the State Route 132 is our priority project, and you can see that here in the slide. But if you look at the writing here, you can see what is going to happen with State Route 99. Before, it wasn't as is in your face as it is here. So you see the State Route 99 back with Stanford, State Route 99 Briggsmore Interchange, State Route 99 Series Service Mitchell Road Interchange. So there you can just really, really see what's going to happen along that Highway 90 or State Route 99 corridor from the Highway 132 and including those interchanges. I think it's great. Anyone that lives in the city of Modesto, which I do, and goes down that Briggsmore interchange almost any time of day or night, knows that we need to have it improved just for safety and just to get through some of those lights. So this is just a great look at some more of the hard work that's being done. Next slide. And this slide just shows all the great work that our partners in transit and transportation are doing. You can see Stan RTA's there, Move, and then Turlock Transit. Next slide. So this item, as I said, it was presented to the advisory committees. It was presented to the Social Service Technical Advisory Committee, the Citizens Advisory Committee, and the Management and Finance Committee. And at the Management and Finance Committee, there were two suggestions that were made. They stated that we should include a project balance for each of the little the projects, so that you'd have your revenues and expenditures and then your balance. So we'll do that in next year. We'll do that, and then also there was an idea to put in the funding, some of the funding under the transit portion. Transit gets such a little bit of money, but they have the Measure L, and they can really leverage some of their projects with Measure L. So we'll add a little section in the transit that shows the different types of fundings that they can go after and leverage Measure L. Next slide. Okay, that concludes this report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Jean. Any questions from members?
How would the public know how much money that each has in reserve, each city or jurisdiction has in reserves, meaning didn't spend? Because I've always found it easier for the larger jurisdictions or the county to spend the money every year, but Houston, Waterford, Newman have to cobble some money together typically to
Right.
do something. But how do we know? How would the public know?
Member Chiesa, thank you for the question. Jean, as we're working with our new consultant, right, Convey Inc.,
Mhm.
and they're working on our website, actually, we're trying to depict all those things. And the reports that we are also kind of showing every month, they're on our agenda packets, kind of have balances and revenues of what the cities and the county are doing with the Measure L. So there's information out there but this,
I thought we just got how much money was given to the city, but it doesn't show the reserve level, does it, in our report packet? I don't think.
no, it doesn't now, but we're looking into, because I think that question came up, so we're trying to
Yeah.
see how, but it should show, they do quarterly reports, all the cities and the county. And so the website, that's something we're working on to show the public, is that this question has come up from the public, actually, wanting to know, are they holding up money? Why didn't they expend? Because they're paying attention that some cities don't expend all their funding. So we're trying to work, and that's something that Convey is doing, to not only have it on that website for the Measure L, but also some on the reporting. We're trying to figure that.
The chairman of the Measure L Oversight had brought this up about expending the money because inflationary factor, right? The longer you wait to bid a project, more expensive it's going to be. So spending it as quick as you can is always better bang for the buck. Good to know. So quarterly updates on the website with the money that we've all put forward would be fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the website, is things that we don't catch in this Measure L report, we certainly can put
Keep
on
that.
the website, keep that running total, and then bring it into the report for the next year. But the website, because it's not, it's something that you can just modify like this, is a perfect way to get some of these thoughts out to the public as soon as possible.
Go ahead.
Question. So this is a beautiful document, and previously we had a draft, I believe.
Correct.
So have all the changes that were made been updated in this
Yes,
document?
yeah. So it was a draft until today. And
Okay.
given that the policy board accepts it, then we'll put it on the website and, do all the other things we do to make it viewable for the public. But for right now, it's until we take it to policy board and it's accepted. It's not a final, but it's close to final.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is the audience for this? Is it the public?
Mhm.
So I don't know how many copies of this, or who will it be sent to? Who?
We retain them here, and anyone can request copies. I get enough to get all the committees and some extras,
Mhm.
but we can always order more. Let's just say we don't have enough. I try and be frugal and not do too many because they are a little bit expensive. But yeah, like if the city of Modesto wants some at your counter or whatever, we can certainly do that.
Don't have it just is really great. And
Yeah.
it seems like something people might be interested in if we just get it in the right hands, that it will
Yes.
be really valuable.
Oh,
So thank you.
Yes, it'll be digital. Yes.
And it will be posted. It will be online. once
yes.
The board accepts it.
Exactly.
That is the routine.
That's what we're waiting for. Yeah.
Any additional comments from the board? Members of the public? Seeing none. Believe you want a motion, the recommendation?
Yes, please.
Motion. Motion to
Oh,
approve.
oh, go ahead. I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. And just so everybody knows, Jean is doing all of these,
All the
every single one, all the way to E.
Yeah.
Motion to recommend the policy board approve submittal of the fiscal year 2025-26 local transportation funds estimate to the auditor controller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next slide, please. So Stancog is the designated agency to administer the Transportation Development Act funds, or TDA funds, in the county. TDA defines the responsibilities of the county auditor, that prior to February 1st each year, the auditor will furnish an estimate to be available for apportionment and allocation during the ensuing fiscal year. Then Stancog's transit cost sharing procedures require Stancog to prepare a local transportation fund, or LTF, apportionment estimate for the new fiscal year based on LTF funds received to the county auditor for consideration when they are determining the LTF. Next slide, please. So the way this is done is Stancog prepares an estimate based on analysis and research of the Stancog LTF from 2013-14 all the way up to 24-25. The projected sales tax revenue for fiscal year end is $31.3 million. Using a 1% growth factor yields a projection for FY 25-26 at $31.6 million. Considering the potential economic influences, staff recommends a conservative LTF estimate to send to the auditor controller of $32 million for 25-26. That concludes this report, but I would be happy to take any questions.
Questions from the board?
Correct. All save. Yeah, and we're having, I think it's the next item actually talks to that. This is the projection, and then what you're talking about is the supplemental monies that we get here.
Any other comments from the board? Any members of the public? Okay. I bring this back for a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Motion to recommend the policy board approve by resolution of fiscal year 2022-23 and fiscal year 23-24 local transportation fund, LTF supplemental appropriate appropriation. Jean?
Yes. Okay, so this is going back to what member Chiesa said. So next slide, please. The way the supplemental apportionment works, according to the transit cost sharing procedures, is the local transportation fund, or the LTF, apportionment occurs when more funds are received than originally estimated. The excess LTF funds are apportioned using the methodology outlined in our transit cost sharing procedures. The bottom little table shows you there's 3% for planning and programming, 2% for non-motorized vehicles, and then the rest goes into the reserves that's held for transit purposes. And we sometimes call it the fund that we're going to use for rail. It's referred to that. Okay, so next slide, please. For FY 22-23, we estimated $31 million, but we actually received a little over $32 million, leaving a balance of about approximately $1 million. So that $1 million is going into this reserve fund, as we just stated, because it's the difference between what we projected and what we actually received. The next slide, please. So this table just goes over how the apportionments are for each of the planning and non-motorized and such. Next slide. So for 23-24, we estimated again 32 million. We got 32.1, getting really close to getting that right on the money. And we came in with a balance of a supplemental apportionment of 188,042. That will go into reserves as well. Next slide. And this slide again shows how the monies are then broken down. Next slide. That concludes the report, and I would be happy to take any questions.
Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions? Did you? Sorry about that.
For the board meeting, I don't need it today, but how much is actually in the reserve? Like 21 million. I think we need to be able to answer that question.
Thank you for that. Any members of the public have any comments or questions? Seeing none, this also requires a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next one is motion to recommend the policy board approve by resolution the fiscal year 2024-25 Measure L project summary. Says move Stanislaus.
Correct.
See, I see Tony's in the room too.
Yes, so I was just going to say the CEO, Tony Hill, is in the audience too, if there's anything we need to ask him as we go along. Okay, next slide, please. So a bit of background. The master funding agreement we have with MOVE, which is from 2018, tells us the distribution of funds for the point-to-point services is allocated to MOVE. I think I caught myself up here. Distributions of funds for 7%, and then an allocation to the transit providers, 30%, and that's allocated for the point-to-point services to MOVE for seniors, veterans, and persons with disability. The agreement states that the Stancock Policy Board will annually review and approve MOVE's project summary list. We have, next slide. We have reviewed their project summary list, which you see on the left, and it is included as an attachment in your packet. And I'll go over each of the line items. MOVE does continue to enhance and expand networks of transportation services provided to seniors, veterans, and individuals with disabilities without duplication of services. They recently launched a Care Cruiser program, and I think they came to the board a couple months ago and outlined that program in detail. But they are looking at ways to expand their service without duplicating anything else that we have in the county. So their line items are the PASS program for senior disabled fare assistance. This is a pilot program, and they've asked for $66,786. Program software of $20,000. This software is needed in order for them to really make their rides, maximize the number of rides or number of trips that they do in a day. In my previous life in transit, these kind of software packages can really help really expand the amount of service you can do, because now you're not relying on a human to okay, this goes here and this goes here and this goes here. The software will take all the information, all the rides that are requested, and then map it out so that if someone's going to Stancog and someone else is going down the street, they'll match those rides up so that you're not having a bus coming to Stancog and then a bus down the street. It's really important. So that's what that is. They have $279,303 for the vets van operations and a coordinator that helps them with that project. The vets van, if you remember, is that it's a volunteer driver program, and it's vets driving vets down to the Bay Area and other locations for vital services, such as going to the VA, things like that for appointments. Bridges Volunteer Driver Program, that's $271,803. That is a volunteer driver program as well. That's where a driver finds another somebody to drive them to really wherever they might need to go. And then the driver is reimbursed the cost of mileage, whatever that is during that particular year. And that's a really great program too. There's lots of people that are obviously on very, very limited income. And so having somebody be able to come in, and usually it's a caregiver that they already have, and be able to, the individual be able to at least give them some money for the gas is really important. One of the big items is the 705-895 for the Care Cruisers program. That's the program that is helping people, especially in these island communities that we have here in the county, where there is no service to any type of service. And it's something that we've seen many times over the years when we do public outreach in the unmet transit needs and in the coordinated transportation plan. I see this particular program growing immensely. The 705, I'm sure, will bump up here in the next little bit because it's a phenomenal program and one that really, really needs to be funded as much as we possibly can. And then they're also working on battery electric vehicle operations facility. That's 500,000, trying to be compliant with the mandates that are coming in here from state of California. So they're starting that process for themselves as well. So move approve their budget, their FY 24-25 budget in May. And Stancog has an undistributed balance of 2.8 million in the point-to-point services and anticipates $1.2 million in revenues for 24-25. So there's certainly enough money to pay for the total that they're asking for here. Next slide. And that concludes the report. I just want to point out on the vets van, you see Jenny Canoyer and Mickey Peabody, and it's just pretty cool because those are two of the seniors that were founding MOO. But anyway, I'll take any questions you would like.
Awesome. Members, questions? No questions? Members of the public? Yeah. Actually, you know
I
what?
do have one question. So the Bridges program is just by way of interest, but the one is specifically for veterans and then the others for the population at large.
So the Bridges program is for anybody.
Oh,
Yeah, so anybody can be part of the.
okay, no, I
it's
was
the-
thinking of the vets van.
Yeah, the
thing.
vets van is specifically for vets, and
Right, that's the one I was.
yeah, and so that came about because I actually started some of these projects long ago. We found after doing outreach to the vets, a lot of them only want to be, because of
Mhm.
whatever they suffered when they were serving our country, only want to be driven by vets, and so that's what this program's for.
Okay, so I was looking, I guess, at the difference between the Bridges and the care.
Yeah, so the Care Cruiser is more of, I would liken it to a sort of a dial-a-ride service where a person calls in and asks for a ride. That's why they need the software. So they ask for a ride, and then what Move does is match them up with one of their drivers and vehicles and gets them to wherever they need to go. That is serves the county,
Mhm.
whereas the vet van goes out of the county. And that one is the one that serves the areas that are not being served any other way.
Okay, and then
Critically
Bridges
important.
program, what's the nuance there?
The Bridges program is a volunteer driver program, but it is one where the so the Care Cruisers is not a volunteer driver program. Bridges is a volunteer driver
Okay.
program where the individual that needs to ride finds their driver for
Okay,
them.
got it. Okay, great. Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
I get more information on the battery electric vehicle operations facility.
Yeah,
I could talk about.
Voting?
Is this on? Can you hear me? Yeah, what we're finding is that we, as a transit provider, we're gonna have to comply with CARB's rules. We're gonna either have to go electric or hydrogen. We cannot afford hydrogen. And so what we did in order to start that process is that we secured 3 battery electric vehicles, and they're the Ionics. And what that's going to do is going to position us in a place where we can get funding from other sources to help us create the infrastructure that we need in order to sustain services. Well, actually, before and after the new rules come into place. So, and what we find here in Stanislaus County is that there's not a lot of electric chargers here. That just aren't here. And so we know that we're going to have to get on board that. My understanding also, just reading some of the publications from Stan Cog, is that I think it's this year that the Stanislaus Council of Governments is going to launch this endeavor to improve the accessibility of charging infrastructure within the entire county. And so that's going to be very helpful. But there's really not much here in Stanislaus County. You know, they have a couple of options that we can access in Turlock. You know, they've got Electrify America out there in Turlock at the Walmart. There's Tesla out here. There's a few EVgo out here, but there's not really much in Modesto. And we're located in Modesto with respect to our current location. And on top of it, we are in a office building, and we share that with Salida School District. And at this time, we don't have sufficient parking space there. You know, it's a building that's not really built for these types of vehicles and parking. And so we have no way of securing our vehicles, and they have been subject to vandalism. And on top of it, you know, we're dealing with a landlord who is sort of resistant to this move towards electrification. And so he's unwilling even to establish a charging infrastructure. There are just one charging station. And so we know that we're not going to be in that location for long term. And so our plan is to start building up capital to do so. The other thing that we're going to do as well is we are going to pursue our earmark here next month to try to get a direct allocation for move. So we're trying to plan around that, and we want to do that in today's dollars and not into future dollars. It's going to cost us too much.
And for those who do not know, Tony Hill is the CEO, for the record.
Yeah, yeah.
For the record.
Yeah.
Any other additional questions?
I just want to give a quick historical note. When Measure L was written, we were down in Los Angeles at the Low Hotel, Low, almost burned down last week. And we were there with Bill Zalaki, Gary Soisa, myself, you, Kendall Flint was there, who was our public outreach consultant. And we didn't have this written. In case you didn't know, we failed twice at passing Measure L before because we electeds knew what was right. And we told the people what was right, and they didn't agree with us. So this time we sat down with the polling numbers and wrote it exactly as the polling number showed. We had decided we would tap out because people wanted their roads fixed in front of their house first and foremost. And that's why 65%. The only changes that came out of that after that day, because of Jenny Canoyer, who was on the Area on Aging with Mickey Peabody, and they demanded more money for the MOVE program, which was, now looking back, it's one of our most successful programs, and the Connecting Communities, Gary Soyseth. And we were trying to deal with county islands or connecting areas between an unincorporated area to a city. And I think we utilized that money in the Empire all the way to Claus Road. Anyways, those are the things. And I always go back to these historical moments when people fought for something that, and the board agreed, right? It wasn't anyone else. We brought these numbers to the board, and the board changed only two numbers on those percentages. That's why it's 30%, the 7%, 30% of the, and then we ixnayed something. I don't remember what we ixnayed. Anyways, always good to talk about successful programs looking almost 10 years later.
But because transit gets a
Yeah.
high volume of funding,
Yeah, we
not a
do.
high volume, I shouldn't say that, but they have a funding source. The consolidated service transportation doesn't, right?
No.
I mean, very limited. And I think that's what the board saw. And so they added more to the MOVE program.
More,
Jeff Denham got 2 vans to start out with,
Bed vans, yes.
vet vans, so.
A congressman.
Yeah.
It was very involved, community involved.
Team sport.
Well, we appreciate your support, and we intend to grow the program. And like Gene said, our focus is really on expanding the reach for care cruisers. We want to be able to provide on-demand service, and we want to provide service for the weekends and also after hours. And so that's our plan, and we're excited. We appreciate your partnership. And I can tell you, I'm proud every time I see one of those vehicles in the community. You know, and you'll see them out there, and we're like, oh, that's one of us. And we know that it's changing a person's life. So any more questions for me? Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just add, because I know that there's a lot of information and CEO Hill is indicating that he wants to grow the program and add more service. But I want to make sure that, people say, well, you have STEM RTA, you got transit. This is not the same.
No.
It's more of
Specialized, it
Well,
is specialized.
it's specialized and it's augmenting, right? They are filling the gap.
Yeah,
Is what it is.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
when you look back at Jenny Canoyer and Mickey Peabody, that's what they were saying, fill the gap because we're missing people that are homebound. So this is the difference. And it's a good thing. We're very proud of it.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So going back to the board, this does require a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second it?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. Last but not least, draft January policy board agenda. G.
Thank you. Yes, so the next slide, please. Slide. There we go. So the draft policy board agenda for January 15th is before you. We will be having a verbal update from our state legislative.
Jean. Or is it appropriate to say, Miss, that's going to be a change that I was just alerted this morning.
Oh,
Our state lobbyists will not be able to do the report as planned.
I
Will be
forget what I
removed.
just said.
Oh, is that what you said? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought you were like saying we were going to have.
I was saying we're going to have him come present, Gus Corey, but we won't.
Right.
And then we'll have the Measure L annual report, which at that time we were hoping that the policy board will accept that report, and that'll be it for this year, except some of the sort of changes or the additions that we'll have on the website based on all these great conversations. We have the annual listing of obligated projects from Jose Luis, and then myself again for the 2 supplemental apportionments that we went through today. And I would be happy to take any comments or questions.
Any comments or questions? Okay. Members of the public? Seeing none, this does not require a motion. Move on to the executive director report. Any reports?
Well, I just want to welcome you all to your first year of our first meeting for 2025. So happy New Year. And also welcome our new member Condit. Thank you for joining our executive.
Welcome.
committee.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I hope I'm able to add to the conversation.
Absolutely.
You already did. So we thank you for being here. And so with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any member reports? Nope. And we are now adjourned. Meeting will be on February 13th at, oh, actually, no, I wrote that wrong. So what day is it that we're having our extra meeting?
It's the 13th, isn't it?
That's the next executive committee meeting, yes.
Yeah, the next
Thursday, so
executive.
it's off
Okay, yeah, so the next executive committee meeting is the 13th, but our regular meeting is what day?
2 days from now.
2 days from now, on the 15th. That's what I wanted to make sure.
Oh,
Everybody knew our
okay.
policy board meeting is on the 15th. Okay, awesome. Meeting is adjourned. Have a blessed day.